With that, I'll open public input and we'll start with Ms. Doris Hincks. And I would like to ask, obviously, given the size of this evening's crowd, I would like to ask that you limit your comments to 5 minutes. I have a timer here, and we will be strictly adhering to that this evening. So with that, good evening, Ms. Gates.
Good evening, City Councilors, and City Manager and others. I'm speaking specifically on the Soul City Dance Community Rental Lease. I know for some that's not a major project or a problem, but for me, it's a concern. I have with me, and I will leave with you, a list of rentals that presently are at the community center. As a taxpayer, you can see that we support the Senior Center, Jerry's Pantry, Share Fund, and others at zero to low cost. Nobody complains about that. I think that's a great thing. I've also prepared a history of Soul City Dance lease agreements. Last year, I was researching what the school district was paying for the rented space at the community center. From the report on the leased property by the city, I realized that Arts Rochester, doing business as Soul City Dance, had a lease which calculated out at $4.25 per square foot, much less than what is the normal standard rate, which is at $7 a square foot. When I brought this up with the City Council Finance Committee, a discussion ensued last year. At the next meeting, several persons at Soul City Dance came forward to discuss the merits of the program and lessons they offer. They requested a one-year extension at $4.25 rate. The Finance Committee discussed the rate, but the minutes of the meeting and the follow-on City Council meeting minutes have no mention of any vote taken regarding this lease. What you have in your package tonight is a draft for the past year's lease due to end in 10 days, which has never been signed. Not sure why. This past year, I did my homework. Under the right to know, I requested the leases that Soul City Dance had with the city. It was with surprise that I got a copy of the 5-year lease that John Scruton signed. It was actually a 4-year lease with a 5th-year option, which was this past year. Interesting, Mr. Dan Hussey of Soul City Dance, nor the city manager were forthcoming with the information which they had to have known. How many of you as city councilors knew there was a 5-year lease? In that lease, it stated the additional discounts given in the early years. They have known, if I had known these rates, I would have been extremely unhappy, as they were 2 years at $425, 1 year at $364, 1 year at $303, and the first year they had no lease at all to pay except for the upgrades of the HVAC system for the area, and the city could not find any information that showed they paid anything for that. Some would say that they did not lie to you or me, but I said they lied by omission, which is still lying in my book. Let me be clear. I'm not here to discuss the merits of their programs nor the persons they serve. Their business plan is not up for debate. They are a 501c3, which allows persons to write off 50% of any donations made to them. This is all up to them, not to us. What I am discussing is why any business gets a break on the backs of the taxpayers. Why should they get our dollars, which are all done behind closed doors? Was it because of their connections in the city, the right people they know on the board of their directors, a past mayor, a spouse of a city councilor? If they were given special rates to their clients, that is their decision, nor is it a reason for them to be subsidized by the taxpayers. Maybe they need to take and make a change in their business plan, raise their rates, or search for additional donors. That's not our problem. I do know that they did get washed out by the floods 2 years in a row. I expect they had insurance for their losses. If not, they should not have had the taxpayers subsidizing them as they recovered their losses. My spreadsheets show that over the 5 years, the taxpayers of Rochester have subsidized Soul City Dance for over $78,000.
Holy cow.
I've got that spreadsheet, and you'll all have a copy. I'm asking that you as our elected officials do the right thing for the taxpayers. Require the city manager to draw up a 1-year lease like everyone else at the community center, have a standard rate of $7 a square foot, and I would ask that they would put these details in a lease that be signed by next September 4th, as their lease is already due to run out. Let's not go another year without a lease. In the future, it should be standard practice that all leases that deal with city property be brought before you, our elected officials, for approval, and nothing should be signed off by the city manager. Now, I would ask you to go do the right thing for the city taxpayers. I will leave these with Julian to pass out later. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Robinson.
GrokTV.